Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for July 3rd, 2014, the day before 4th of July. I know everyone's getting ready to enjoy the long weekend ahead. Unfortunately, we're going to be dealing with some showers and thunderstorms and some rather severe thunderstorms on the way before we get to the holiday weekend. And unfortunately, I got some bad news, especially if you're on Long Island and in Connecticut for tomorrow in terms of your festivities. It looks like it's going to be a little bit more rain than what was originally thought. I'll explain why and explain what is happening with Hurricane. That's right, Hurricane Arthur. So here we have temperatures throughout the region in the lower to mid 70s over the northern interior, upper 70s to lower 80s over the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. We're seeing some low clouds and some residue from showers and thunderstorms from this morning. These clouds will start to break up. Skies will clear somewhat ahead of the next round of showers and thunderstorms. It's going to be rather impressive this afternoon and evening. Before the thunderstorms develop, though, temperatures are going to rise into the upper 80s to lower 90s. Dew points are going to be in the lower 70s, and that, of course, is going to make temperatures feel like the mid to upper 90s. So it is not going to be pretty this afternoon and evening, or should I say this afternoon, in terms of temperatures, and then it gets even worse with the thunderstorms this evening. Here is the surface map, and here's pretty much the whole setup for the next 24 hours. Here we have Hurricane Arthur starting to lift north-northeast towards the Outer Banks of North Carolina. This hurricane will interact with this cold front that is approaching the region. Now, the thunderstorms today have nothing to do with Arthur, okay? We have a very tropical air mass in place, and that's going to produce the potential for very heavy downpours, but it has nothing to do directly or indirectly with Arthur. Tomorrow, though, this cold front will slowly move through the New York City metropolitan area and Long Island and Connecticut, especially in the afternoon hours, and will entrain moisture from Arthur, and that is what's going to make for a rather wet 4th of July for those of you in central and eastern Long Island and also central and eastern Connecticut and points east towards New England. To kind of lay down the groundwork for today, first we have the lifted index that's in place for this morning. Now, this morning it's supposed to be rather stable, and we still have the developing setup here for a very unstable atmosphere. This is still pretty unstable for this time of morning. It's only 9:40 in the morning. As we move into the afternoon, the atmosphere is going to be increasingly more stable in these locations, and that's what's going to support your widespread showers and thunderstorms. Now, notice as you head further to the west over Pennsylvania, the instability rapidly falls off. I think the focus for showers and thunderstorms and strong to severe thunderstorms will be along the Delaware River on east. So those of you along the coast who've been saying, where are my thunderstorms? If you missed them last night, you're going to have a much better shot of seeing those severe thunderstorms this afternoon in this type of setup. Also, I want to show you the precipitable water. Now, I'm going to make this really simple. Anytime you're above 1.5, that is a very tropical air mass, and that means you have the potential for very heavy rainfall. And as you can see here in the graphic as of this morning, we range anywhere from 1.5 to 2. That is very, very indicative of a highly tropical, moisture-loaded atmosphere. And what this typically represents is the potential for rainfall rates over an inch an hour in some of these thunderstorms. So if you want to see a lot of heavy rain, this is the type of observation you want to look for. And what this is telling us is that we're going to be setting up for thunderstorms that will be capable of some very impressive rainfall rates moving forward. As far as the radar right now, we have one cluster of thunderstorms lifting up through northern New Jersey. This is kind of the preview here. This is what's going to be setting up for this afternoon. We're going to see thunderstorms start to develop over southeastern Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, and they are going to race north and east. And we're also going to have thunderstorms developing right over the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. These thunderstorms are going to be capable of very heavy downpours, frequent lightning, hail, wind gusts over 60 miles per hour, and I can't even rule out an isolated tornado in this event, as we're going to have a lot of wind shear in place throughout the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan areas. So it's going to get rather ugly this evening. If you have plans to go out this evening, I would cancel them because it's just going to be a mess with very heavy rainfall. Flash flooding will be a threat. Wind damage will be a threat. And of course, visibility will fall below 2 miles. So let's take a look at our hurricane. Here's the latest information on Hurricane Arthur as of 8 a.m. We have winds at 80 miles per hour, a pressure of 983, and it's moving to the north-northeast at 9 miles per hour. Now this and this are kind of a disconnect. 983 millibars usually suggests a stronger hurricane, a Category 2 hurricane at the very least. But right now we have winds of only 80 miles per hour, which is a Category 1 hurricane, still strong. If you get the dry air out of this hurricane, this wind will jump up. And you got that threat as a potential until this afternoon when we start to see some really strong shears start to develop on the southwest side of this storm. So up until about this evening, you're going to have to keep an eye on the potential for these winds to jump up very, very suddenly and without much notice, possibly up to 90, maybe even 95 or even 100 miles per hour, based on the way that this pressure is set up. Now, let me take a look at the water vapor here. Here's the, the visible here. Here's the latest visible satellite picture. In fact, we'll see if we could refresh this real fast, get the latest data here. And you can see, point blank, we're starting to try to get, once again, an eye trying to form with Arthur here. Keyword here is try. It's been trying to do so and failing each time because we have dry air trying to entrain into Arthur. And that's been inhibiting the development of Arthur for some time now. What I expect to see happen is that we're going to get one more shot of intensification, and then we're going to start to see shear start to influence the southwestern side of our hurricane. On the infrared satellite picture, you can see Arthur is very well developed here as far as convection is concerned. There's plenty of convection with this hurricane. The question is whether, see this little area right here, see that blue area? That's an indication of dry air. Now when we take a look at the water vapor satellite picture, a couple of key points here. Outflow is very impressive on the northwest quadrant here, or should I say northeast quadrant, indicative of a strong developing hurricane. However, notice on the southwest side, you're supposed to have winds coming out on the southwest side, kind of to get rid of the latent heat, the residue from the latent heat energy from a hurricane. So typically you see winds coming out here and here. But what's happening is that this southwesterly shear is going to start to choke out that process. And that's what's going to limit its intensification later on this afternoon through the evening. So the basic setup here is that Arthur starts to lift more to the north and east, heading towards the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Our cold front, which by the way the winds are starting to run parallel to the cold front, will slowly inch eastward. We'll have showers and thunderstorms and a few severe thunderstorms developing throughout the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area this evening. Notice this strong jet streak here. That's going to enhance thunderstorms this evening and lead to the potential for wind gusts over 60 miles per hour and also the isolated threat for a tornado. This is our strong disturbance that's going to pick up Arthur. And as this cold front is pressing east, it's going to take some of this moisture and produce very heavy rainfall right along this cold front. And so that's what we're going to be watching tomorrow morning. Because the wind's moving parallel to this cold front, it's going to move very slowly. And as a result, it looks like for those of you in eastern Long Island and central and eastern Connecticut, unfortunately it looks like a rain out for 4th of July this year. However, to the west, New Jersey coast, New York City metro itself, the Hudson River Valley, eastern Pennsylvania, skies will clear rapidly as there will be a sharp divide between that very dry air that's going to be building in right behind this cold front and the tropical air mass that's going to be in place along and ahead of the cold front. So let's take a look at the latest model guidance using the European model guidance from the Penn State EWOL website. Again, for this evening, here comes Arthur. It's getting picked up by our strong trough. Our cold front is slowly pressing east. Showers and thunderstorms could be expected, a few of them severe. High temperatures this afternoon, the upper 80s to lower 90s. For tomorrow, here's where it gets tricky. For tomorrow, we have lows in the lower to mid 70s. Very tropical air mass throughout the entire region. Periods of rain tomorrow morning for the entire region, pushing west to east. So tomorrow morning is going to be rather wet for everybody. By the time we get to the afternoon, that cold front is basically cutting through central Connecticut and through central Long Island. Along and east of that cold front, you're going to have periods of very heavy rain. And you can see that very well at 700 millibars that divide between the tropical air mass and the very dry air mass right behind that cold front. Very dry air over New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York City, and the Hudson River Valley. So what this is going to lead to is clearing skies and rapidly improving conditions with temperatures in the lower to mid 80s over portions of the New York City metropolitan area on west. On east, temperatures are in the upper 70s to lower 80s because you're going to have periods of rain throughout the region. And it's just going to be an ugly day, unfortunately, for 4th of July because this cold front is going to end up moving just a little bit slower. You will not have direct impacts from Hurricane Arthur. You will not over Long Island. But you will have very heavy rainfall due to the interaction of the cold front and the tropical moisture that's in place. Winds will be strong from the southwest, backing to the north at around 15 to 25 miles per hour, though. So it's not going to be a very pretty day from central Long Island on east and central Connecticut on east. And if you're in New England, forget about it. It's just not going to be your holiday. The good news is that the rest of the weekend is going to be salvaged. Saturday and Sunday will feature high pressure, clear skies, very enjoyable conditions throughout the entire Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area, including Long Island. One word of caution, though, this hurricane will enhance tides, will enhance the waves, and will lead to the threat for a strong rip current. So use caution now all the way on through this weekend. Temperatures for this weekend will range from the lower to mid 60s for lows, lower to mid 80s for highs. Very comfortable weather conditions will be in place. And then for early next week, high pressure generally in control. We'll have a few disturbances trying to move through the region, producing a few isolated showers and thunderstorms. Overall, temperatures are going to be averaging near normal, upper 60s to lower 70s for lows. High temperatures in the mid to upper 80s along the immediate coast, upper 80s to lower 90s throughout the rest of the region. That is your forecast discussion for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and LinkedIn. Have a wonderful day, and please stay safe out there.